Yo, what's up? We're back, episode number 2. So yeah, what the hell are we talking about?
Okay. So we were talking about the marketing before.
Yeah. So, alright, let's leave that then. Let's move on a bit. Have you got something else to say?
No, that's pretty much it. So, yeah, the other topic we wanted to talk about was not changing for anyone.
Yes. Indeed. So, what we mean by that is...
Well, are you going to tell the story of what happened to us, kind of?
Yeah, I was kind of going to delve into that a little bit. Yeah. Basically what we mean by that is, yeah, we're not hard and fast like wankers or assholes like that. We want to make a cool game, obviously, and we want to be fair to everybody. And that's exactly what we set out to do with our first game. And yeah, we come up with this whole awesome system for IAPs where, you know, we all grew up in the arcade age, and you know, we'd be paying like 40 cents just for 1 credit, or like sometimes you get 3 or like 3 lives or whatever. 1 credit, it was like 3 lives or whatever. So we grew up in those sort of times, and we figured, oh, that'd be cool. That would fit in kind of this day and age with IAPs, and you know, get it. You know, we could give free lives or credits. You know, every say, you know, 10-15 minutes as well, and that would be awesome. It would work out for everybody. And it was working in the beginning, except
well, we what happened was we got our first review. That's what it was.
Yeah.
It was the first review that we got.
negative one.
Yeah. But I remember waking up really early and reading that shit. And it was a good review. Everything was good about the game, but then it drilled us on the
Credit system.
Yeah, the credit system. The game had been out for how long? Maybe
nothing, like a couple months, a month.
Yeah,
even.
but the game was generating revenue for us.
Yeah, we were actually generating the most revenue we made since releasing the game.
Yeah.
With that system.
Yeah.
But, you know,
basically we panicked. Obviously,
yeah,
the people that reviewed it were quite big. Well, not quite big, but they were big. They were more of one of the bigger fish. We panicked. We thought, all right, well, if they don't like it, then everybody else is going to hate it. We're going to get, you know, just absolutely slammed over it. So we panicked and we changed the whole system, pretty much.
Yep, we changed everything. Well, not everything. I mean, regarding IAPs, yeah, we did. Like,
the game was still the same.
We came up with a gold system. We made it like so free that it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And we still get a complaint every now and then, and it's like, really, dude, you go make a game.
Yeah. But yeah, basically what we're trying to say is like that's an example for us. And it's true that there's certain things like generating negative revenue where you're actually forcing people to pay you money. Ours wasn't like that. It didn't run onto that level. And yeah, what we're trying to say is that basically don't listen to
don't
people.
change the game. Once you like find all that shit in the beginning, once you're really happy with it, you're confident with it, and that you think you're being fair while being a businessman, stick to your guns, leave it at that.
Yeah.
Don't change it, because there's a lot of problems after, you know, people complain, oh, well, I paid for that and now it's free, and you know, you're probably gonna have to refund people, and it's just messy.
Yeah.
And you'll probably make less money.
Yeah.
So don't do it, because you know, that's your human side and the nice guy of you saying, oh, you know, wow, I should probably change that. But, you know, to be a proper businessman, you kind of have to be a bit ruthless.
Yeah, so basically back your product.
Yeah, back your product. You know it's a quality
it.
product, stand by it,
Yeah.
stick to your guns. You know, you're not being an asshole like, you know, most of these other companies that make you pay out the culo.
Yeah.
Pardon my Spanish.
Yeah.
But they make you pay out the culo for nothing. Like, you know, you play Simpsons, what is it called? Tap out? What is it? I don't know. Anyway, could have been a cool game. Instead, it's a timing game. you stand around in Springfield and you hit timers, and you can pay for timers to happen instantly or not. And that's it. And they're making hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Well, into the hundreds. Kim Kardashian smashed that. But anyway, that's what you're paying for. You're paying for timers.
Yeah.
That's all you're paying for with those games. And then, we try to make cool games, and we can't get enough people to look at our game.
Yeah. The other thing as well is that there seems to be a stigma around indie devs, where why should we pay them money? You know what I mean? It's almost like if you're a big company, not everyone's like this, but it's a large amount. And they're usually the ones that are going to slam your game and be like, oh, it's too expensive, or, why are you charging $1 for a game that you worked 2 years on?
Yeah.
Well, there's a reason for that. And that's because you worked for 2 years on a game, on a product. You know what I mean? Make sure that, you're fair, but also you have to make money out of it too. So.
Yeah. And, we're not greedy either. I mean, we basically just... We'd hope that, people like our games enough to be able to support us, not just money-wise, but just support us as, they like us, so they're fine with paying like $1 or up to $10 for something in the game, and that's fine with us. Like being a 2 or now with a 3-man team, we've got another guy working with us. That is more than enough to keep us going, with a certain amount of customers, obviously. Yeah. But that's all we need. We don't need each and every customer to pay like $50 or, anything like that. Yeah. And that would be enough for us to be able to, support our company and create, sick games, awesome games.
Yeah. So stand by your product, charge a fair price, make sure that you're making something out of it. You want to do this for as long as you can. You don't want to work another job. You want to be funded within your own company. That's why you started a business.
Yeah. So, like we all work full time at other companies, at other jobs, and this is our everyday thing. We still got to come back here and work at something every day.
People got to put bread and butter on the table, and you got to get that shit. Make money, make games.
Yeah.
Make games.
To summarize, cool. Done. So, what else we got? Okay. Little hot tip from the Paranormal team. Paranormal Games team. Being a small team, making games is tough sometimes, especially if you're making a 3D game. So utilize the stores that are popping up everywhere, and there are a lot of good shit in there. Sometimes it's very generic, but as a starting point, it's amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
You can make your indie game feel like a 20-man team just because of the stuff that you can buy. And just shop around, because you can find some cheap-ish stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, we've bought loads of stuff and we haven't even ended up using it still, but it's there when we need it.
Yeah, so...
I mean, most of that's because we got shafted by AdMob and Google with some assets, but, I thought I'd just take a little stab there.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't take us off YouTube.
So invest money in fast tracking yourself. Getting stuff that's tedious. If you can find it somewhere that at least it's close, and it's going to cut down 30 to 40% of your time. If you can afford it, invest some money into it. Basically, that's what we're saying. Yeah.
Definitely.
So remember to fast track yourself. I mean, you look at even UE4 now. You go in the store. There's some awesome stuff on there. That if you were to make it, it's another month's work for you.
Yeah.
So
and it's priced very well. I mean, as an artist, I can make assets, and the real worth that it would cost the company for me to make that, to pay my salary, is into the hundreds of dollars per asset.
Yeah.
And you can buy asset packs for like $30.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just, you know, because it's spread across the masses, and you know, so many people can buy it. You know, they can afford to, like developers can afford to, you know, bring the price down, because they're going to make up for it, because, you know, hundreds of people might buy that asset. So it's just win-win there. So, yeah. Right. So moving on. 10 minutes in. Last thing I wanted to talk about was Kickstarter stuff. So Kickstarter's awesome. It's an amazing source, you know, of financing, and you know, kudos to that, and it's fantastic. You know, but recently, I don't know, it seems like it's just getting raped and pillaged. I don't know, there's just so many games trying to get on Kickstarter, and that's understandable. But I don't know, I don't know. I forgot what I was going to say about this, but I don't know, I just feel like there's way too many games on Kickstarter that get funded and they shouldn't be.
Yeah, don't make the mistake of saying, well, we'll develop this game and we'll get a prototype together and then we'll go on Kickstarter and we'll get funded.
Yeah.
Don't fall into that trap. We've seen a few different companies that we know fall into that trap, and it's hit them hard, and it's wasted a lot of time for them.
Yeah. I'd love to, you know, make a Kickstarter and pitch one of our games and all that, but I really feel like you should have a great idea and you should have a great demo to show.
Yeah.
Before you even attempt Kickstarter, and really like weigh up the pros and cons of it too. Don't just go on there willy-nilly with something, you know, little crappy demo you've been working on by yourself, because you really don't know how much time and money and effort it takes to create a final product of a game.
Yeah. The other thing as well is, if you are doing a Kickstarter, don't limit your presentation to a Kickstarter audience. Try to think about it as you're going to take that into somewhere to an investor. You know what I mean? Whether that's a private investor or a friend of yours or anything like that, or a connection, a business connection. Always deal with it like that. Don't, you know, so you can take that material. If Kickstarter doesn't work for you, you can then take that stuff that you worked on and go, all right, I can walk into this office and pitch this. Yeah. So try to keep that in mind as well.
The other thing, which was also in the original article we were talking about, was they talked about, well, it was actually in the comments section of a guy talking about Kickstarter games that got funded and then they released their game, and you know, it was just talking about the way that indie games are kind of developed by noobs, you know, like amateurs don't really know what they're doing. So a lot of that Kickstarter money ends up going on, you know, people looking up YouTube videos to figure out how to make the fucking game.
Yeah.
Which is so true. I mean, but that's just the nature of the beast, being indie. When you're indie, you know, you can't, you know, you can't always like source the people you need to be able to, you know, with the skills you need to do everything. I mean, we've done everything. Like, we've done sound, animation. I mean,
trailer.
Yeah, I did the game, you know, the trailer, and you know, everything. All marketing pieces, logos.
I made these t-shirts.
You know, we made t-shirts. We, you know, everything. We do everything. It's ridiculous. And you know, maintaining every page that you come up with for every game demo, and you know, it's nuts. But yeah, you can't find those people. So yeah, in indies, it's just the nature of the beast, unfortunately. And I mean, that's what I would like. That's what I mean about wait before you go on Kickstarter. You need to be able to source these people if you're going on Kickstarter, like professionals who know what they're doing. And when you go on Kickstarter, I wouldn't go on Kickstarter asking for less than $100,000 for it to make a game, because that's what a game deserves and that's what a game needs. Like even $100,000 is like so cheap. because you think about it, you need like at least a year to make this game. You know, you need these professionals, and these professionals, they want like $60,000 salaries. You know, it's crazy. So when I see games, you know, they have successful Kickstarters for, you know, $50,000 or whatever, I just cringe. I just cringe inside. It's like, how are you gonna do that? You're not gonna do it.
Yeah, the other thing as well is like, when you're dealing with a Kickstarter project, let's say you go for 50 grand, right? And you've budgeted out that the game's going to cost you 40, and then you've got 10 grand to play with, right? Well, you never know how many problems you're going to come across. Or, even better than that, you never know when you're going to get a newer idea that's going to take that product to the next level. So make sure that you've got that money to play with. You know, so whatever your budget is, add on to that and be really generous with adding on to that. Because that's what you need. That's what anybody needs that's doing any big project. You know?
Yeah, so like, you're probably not going to see us on Kickstarter anytime soon. Hopefully we can eat our words and you know, get to that point, but...
Yeah, we may try to make a potato salad on that.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I put egg in my shit.
Yeah.
That's out of this world. Nah. Yeah, so that's our little 2 cents, you know, talks from the gutter here in the garage.
Yeah.
Yeah, anything else to add?
That's it. Keep up the good work.
Yeah, in saying that, I know we have like negative things to say, but we try to keep it real. You know, talk about the realities of development.
Yeah. And of course,
definitely don't give up. You know, you're gonna fail. They're stepping stones. Move on.
Yeah.
And yeah, just make awesome games, guys, and you know, do it to the best of your ability.
Yeah.
That's all we want to see.
Yeah.
All right.
And have fun. Games are about
Most
fun.
importantly, yeah. I mean, fuck all the money. Just let's have fun.
Yeah.
But no, we can have more fun with money, though.
Yeah.
No. All right. So peace out, guys, and
See you later, guys.
we'll see you soon.
Take care.